Whoa, the last video! I am super proud of all of you that you finished this course. Before we will close this course together, I do want to talk a bit still about how to test the students' knowledge. I already mentioned this topic in the first video. In programming classes, hardly any tests are being done for the students. This is mainly because programming is just an additional course. Sometimes they are offered by volunteers, which is really nice, of course. IT professionals that come to class without charging anything, explaining some things about programming. But that sounds more like an experience-based class rather than a concept-based class. This is more just listening to someone talk about coding, and you listen to it for an hour in order for the kids to have a super rough idea about what programming is. So that is the first reason why we think testing their knowledge is really good to do. The second reason is, of course, and yeah, there he is again, Piaget. Feline and I really like his theories. Teachers that develop their own classes, programming classes, fall back a lot in the lowest stage of Piaget. So they will create these classes when they are in the sensorimotor stage. This means that they will mainly focus on the concrete course material and not so much on the actual learning objectives and how to test these. I did experience this, that a teacher developed great material, but when I asked what are your learning objectives and how will you test these on your students, I got the response, "Oh wow, I didn't even think of that. I was so busy with trying to get a grip on programming, I totally forgot to act and work as a teacher." That is, of course, understandable that the response was. You are also learners in this. So that is this week's very last assignment. I want to ask you to create a test, a quiz, that belongs to one of the classes from this course. You can pick whatever class you like. This can be one of the classes you give feedback on earlier throughout this course, or one of my classes from the course material. Pay attention to what concepts are covered in these classes. Do students have to read code, or do they have to improve code? Let all those principles come back in your test. So make sure you practice what's being covered in class and always keep the learning objectives in mind. Not only the learning objectives related to programming, also when there are learning objectives for mathematics, for example. Maybe you want to test these as well. And if so, would you combine this in one test or will you split this up? Think about this. Use your own way of how you normally design your tests for your students. And this can be a handwritten test or a test in which children have to summarize what they've made. It doesn't have to be a test like a quiz with a piece of paper on which you have to write down all their answers in a given time. I want you to think about, how do I get to know whether my students understand everything? Well, if you did that, I am sure you are ready to start teaching programming in class. I want to wish you the best of time and the best of luck doing this. And maybe Feline and I will see each other next time.